Hi guys, welcome back. I'm glad you could join me today. So today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're not going to be going through a machine today, but what we are going to do is show how to download and install um, Tenable Nessus on a new Kali install, on a fresh Kali install. So this is something that's not particularly difficult or anything like that, but it's one of those things that every time I have to do it on a new Kali, I have to look at my notes. And so I just thought it might be helpful for some of you guys to, see it gone through as well. If you're, looking to a YouTube resource for this. And then maybe after we get it installed, we will go through a quick scan and just kind of show how to use the tool if you've never seen that before. So anyway, to go ahead and get started here, the first thing that we will want to do is go to obtain an activation code. So you'll see throughout the video that the reason I'm doing this and the reason that I say that, I have to look at my notes every time I do this is because this is a little bit, like I say, it's not difficult, but it is a little bit less straightforward than just like installing something out of the Kali repositories, which Nessus is not available there. So anyway, obtain an activation code. That's the first wrinkle. So I will link this page that we're on down below in the video description. But basically, and you could look this up on Google or something too if you want. But basically, it's tenable.com, products, Nessus, activation code. Then you're going to want to go over here to Nessus Essentials. And don't worry about like the code, getting anything. It's really straightforward and it is completely free. So as you can see right here, it's for educators, students, and individuals starting their careers in cybersecurity. Free vulnerability scanner right here. So I do believe that you cannot use this for anything like commercial based. I could be wrong about that. Maybe you can, but I feel like you can't. But as long as you're using it for just like, training or CTFs or even in your own home environment, this is completely fine and completely free. So anyway, you'll want to go ahead and click on register now. And then it gives you this simple little form here. It's going to ask for a first name and last name. Now, there's no verification on this, so you don't actually have to give them your real first and last name if you're not comfortable with that. And then a business email. And again, it does not have to be a business email. It does, however, have to be an actual email that you can receive email on it. So it can't be, fake at fake.com or something like that. But it can be a throwaway Gmail address or whatever. And then in my experience, as long as you don't check this box, they will not send anything else to you. So, you don't have to worry about getting a bunch of spam and stuff from them. So anyway, go ahead and fill that out and click get started. And then it should send you an email. I'm not going to show you guys that part directly, but, just trust me, just within a couple minutes, you should get the email, and the email will directly have in it the activation code that we need. Need an activation code? We do, but if you're following along, you should already have that. So then the next step is, I've already jumped over here. We're going to go to this webpage. I will link to this in the description as well, and also the email that you will get links to this. But so whichever way you want to get to it, or you could Google this as well, but whichever way you want to get to it, you're going to basically go to tenable.com/download/Nessus. Actually, it might, one second, it might link you to just the Tenable downloads, and then if you get to this page, just go ahead and click on the Nessus from here, view downloads. Okay, and then this is another part where it can get a tad bit confusing because there's so many options here, but basically just know you're gonna want to get this one that says Debian/Kali Linux, and don't worry too much about the versions. This is the latest version of Nessus, and it will work on the latest version of Kali, so don't worry too much if this doesn't exactly match the newest Kali version. So anyway, go ahead and download that. Now, I've already done that on my machine, so I'm going to go ahead and move forward here, but it should just maybe take a couple of minutes. I don't have a super fast network connection myself, and it only takes a couple minutes, or yeah, maybe 1 or 2 minutes for it to download on my connection. So go ahead and pause the video though if you need. If you're following along, wait for that to download, and then when it's done, go ahead and come back. And the next thing we're going to want to do is go into our terminal here. And if you haven't, or if you're just opening it up fresh, just CD to your downloads. Oops, so that'd be here. Hold on, I'll just show you. So CD downloads, and then you can see I've already did a directory listing to make sure it's there. It is. So now this is going to get pretty straightforward at this point, just because we are able to use the Debian package management system to install this, even though we're gonna use dpackage directly, but it'll take care of putting all the files in the right places and all that kind of stuff. So we want to go sudo dpackage switch I for install, and then the .deb package name. All right, and then hopefully that will work. All right, cool. And then it looks like it has set everything up. So, and then it tells us pretty much the next steps right here. Helpfully, it just, very helpful, it just prints this right out for us. You can start the Nessus scan by typing bin system kernel start nessusd.service. So we will want to do that. Oops, we're gonna do sudo systemctl start nessusd.service. And you could copy and paste it too if that's easier for you, but whichever way, go ahead and do that. And then fire up, or, well, did I close it? No, okay. I was going to say fire up our web browser, but actually we've already got it fired up, I guess. Just navigate back to it. And then go to your local host. So you want to do https://localhost, and that is going to be running on port 8834. Advanced, accept the risk because it's just using a self-signed certificate. But as you can see here, then here is the web interface for the Nessus scanner. So next step, welcome to Nessus. Choose how you want to deploy Nessus. Select a product, get started. So we are using Nessus Essentials, already selected for us, so that's cool. Go ahead and hit continue. We do not, okay, so actually I kind of forgot, to be honest, so this was the thing. Apparently you can actually go through the web interface here to start with and have it send you an activation code. Now, this will probably work just fine. I don't know that I've ever actually tried it this way myself. But yeah, this would probably work just fine. Or, if you want to have everything set up beforehand, just and you were following along with the video, then you don't have to worry about this because you'll already have the activation code in your email. So we will go ahead and hit skip. Activation code. Okay, 1 second. Let me just go into my email off camera here, and I will get my activation code. Now I think it does have to be connected there. So let's see, what does this say? This can connect option to activate using a challenge code. Okay, cool. So if your Kali machine doesn't have internet access, then you could probably do this. I don't know that I've ever done that myself either. I'm sure it will probably work, but the easiest is to just have an internet connection for your VM or your whatever your Kali machine is running on. And that's what we have here. So we're going to go ahead and just continue. And then yes, you do have to create a username and password. It can be whatever you want. I mean, it should be something secure. For the purposes of this demonstration, it's not going to be though. So we will just go Kali and put in a simple password. We don't need to save that. All right, and now for the fun part. So it is going to download and compile a whole bunch of plugins, and this is going to take a little while. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video right here, and I will be back with you guys in just a few minutes when this is done, and then we'll continue. Okay, guys, I'm back, and I just wanted to check in real quick here. I'm gonna pause the video again in just a second, but I did just want to give a little update here. So it was downloading the plugins before, and then, like I said, it is compiling them now. And I don't know if you can hear the the fan on my laptop in the background, but it's cranking right along. So if you see that happening, nothing to worry about. That is completely normal. And then I think after this it'll be all ready to go. So this is still going to take a couple more minutes here though, so I'm going to pause the video and I'll see you guys on the other side of this when it's completely ready to go. All right, and now we are ready to keep rocking and rolling here. So when it gets completely done compiling the plugins, it will bring you to this screen. It will have a pop-up on it that I already closed out of, asking you to run a host scan. That's completely fine if you want to do that. Basically what it's just asking you to do is to scan an entire network or number of network segments to find a live host on it that you might want to vulnerability scan. You can do that if you'd like, or you don't have to if you already know what you're trying to scan. So then when you're done with that, you'll get to this My Scans page. And basically what we're going to do from here, we will go ahead and run a quick scan just to kind of show you what that looks like. So from here, you're going to want to click New Scan. And full disclosure, I guess, Nessus is a pretty heavy-duty vulnerability scanner. As you can see right here, right off the bat, kind of, it has tons and tons of different types of scans it can do, different things it can scan for, etc., etc. We are barely going to scratch the surface of that right now. Just going to kind of show you how the interface works. So this is not at all going to be in depth about what Nessus can do, or all the different ways that you could use it. But for right now though, we'll just go ahead and go basic network scan. So even in the basic network scan, there's a whole bunch of different options that you can do. So to start out with though, you do have to give it a name, and we are going to be scanning our old friend Metasploitable 2. I just went ahead and stood that guy up so we can pick on him a little bit. And just to have something to scan here. And so you want to put the name in. You can put a description, you don't have to though. And then this is kind of going to be the bare basics of any scan that you do. Name, description, and if you want, and then the target or targets. So there's a limitation on the Nessus Essentials, the free one. Let me see if I can get back to it. So it'll only scan 16 addresses at a time. So, but that's usually going to be plenty for like your home network. Oops, let's close that out so it stops blinking at us. That's going to be plenty for your home network, or a small CTF network, or just a single CTF machine, kind of like what we're going to do here with Metasploitable 2. So then I think I might have the address. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I was going to say, because I'll never remember what that was. But luckily I'd already had it on the clipboard here. So yeah, so you just put in, so this being a single address, of course, just put a single address. You can put a DNS name in it that it will resolve, or you can also put a CIDR block. So if you want to scan all of the hosts on the /24 network, you can do that. etc., etc. But like I say, we're just keeping things really basic here right now, just to give a little showcase here. Um, so go ahead and put that address in, and then just to take a quick peek at some of the other things that you can configure, even on the basic scan here, is going to be credentials. So that allows you to put in a username and password or some sort of credentials that you can access the machine with. So that's something that you might want to do, or you would want to do on, say, like your home network. If you're scanning your own machines, it's usually not something you are going to want to do or be able to do on something like a CTF, or if you're on some sort of engagement, because if you already know that information, then I mean, you could still use Nessus to scan, I guess, and kind of do like an internal scan for you, but it's probably not the best suited for that. So, and then there's plugins that you can do different sorts of scans with these different plugins. We're not going to go into any of that right now, so we'll go back to the settings here. You can schedule it. You can set different notifications, like email, that it can send you an email when the scan is done. There's different types of scans that it can conduct here. So one thing we are going to go ahead and do, we are going to go ahead and change, even just for this basic demo here, is that when you come to discovery and you go scan type, it's gonna default to common ports. So I don't know off the top of my head, but how many that is, but it's probably something like maybe like the top 1,000 most common ports. But we're going to go ahead and change that to all ports, just because. Oh wait, hold on. Did it tell us? Oh no, it didn't. Okay, so I saw that change, but no, it just says scan common ports. Anyway, we are going to go ahead and have it scan all of the ports, just because I always feel like if you're going to do a scan, I mean, why not? Because you don't want to miss something unless you're like really in a hurry, I guess. And then scan type, yeah, I mean, default, we'll just leave it on that. That's fine. Different types of reporting options of what it'll show in the report that it gives us. And then, like, say, even on a basic scan, you have some advanced options here, so you can change, like, how fast it's trying to scan so that it doesn't overwhelm the network and things of that nature. So we don't have to worry about any of that right now. And then the next most common type of scan that you might want to conduct beyond a basic scan is an advanced scan. And I'll just give you a heads up real quick that it's pretty much the same as this. It just has even more options that you can configure before you start the scan. So I would definitely encourage you, before we move on here, I just want to say I definitely encourage you, if you're following along at the end of this video, which is going to be coming up here pretty shortly, definitely go back in, and once you now understand kind of the basics of how to once we get all the way through it, you'll understand the basics of how to configure and run a scan. So once you have that, like I said, just go back in and just play around with this stuff, because as long as you're running it on something like Metasplittable 2, you're not gonna cause any damage to anything. So don't worry about messing anything up. And if you somehow even manage to like mess up the configuration or something really badly, you can always just can the Kali VM that you're running on, download a new Kali, download Nessus, and install it again. So don't worry about messing anything up, just play around with it, and that's going to be the best way for you to get familiar and comfortable with all of the more advanced options as well. So anyway, for right now though, we'll go ahead and save, and then, so this is another kind of a little gotcha with this, that's good to know, is that once you save a scan, it is basically just saving the configuration of it. So it shows you the name, when it's scheduled for. On demand just means it's not going to run on its own on a schedule. It's just whenever you start it. Last modified. And then this is just going to stay here, but it's not going to do anything unless you start it. So normally in a case like this where, we're trying to run the scan, we do have to save it or configure it like this, save it. And then once it's here, do make sure and go ahead and click over on this play button or this launch button and get that bad boy going. So if I'm not mistaken, okay, there we go. It's like, what is it doing? Okay, so it just took a second to update there, but I was going to say, if I'm not mistaken, it should be running, and yes, it is. So you can see last modified as for the configuration, but this shows that it is currently running this configured scan. So what I'm going to do, this is going to take a little while again to scan this metasploitable 2, but I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here once again on my side, and then once this gets completely done, then we will come back one more time and we'll just take a quick look at the results. So hopefully the metasploitable 2, as you saw in our first video on the channel here, is, if you watch that, is quite vulnerable. So hopefully this will have some juicy stuff for us to look through real quick in the report, and then you guys can see like what the report looks like and how to kind of start interpreting the results that you get back. So anyway, yeah. So I'll go ahead and pause, and then when we come back, we'll look at that up. We'll look at all that, and then we will wrap up the video for today. All right, and we are back with the results here. So the little green circle thing will turn to a check mark here when it's done, and depending on the speed of your hardware, your network, it could take a little while, but usually maybe 20 minutes or so. It's not going to take all night or anything like that, normally, not for one machine anyway. But okay, so go ahead and then we can click on the name there, and then we get into the report. So as you can see here, it lumps the results by criticality, and it found 12 critical, 8 high, 25 medium, 5 low, and then 135 informational. So that's pretty commonly what you'll see. A lot of them are in this informational category. Those could be something to look at. You probably shouldn't ignore any of it if you're really trying to, be serious about this with like your own hosts on your own network. But if it's something like a CTF or like this metasploitable 2 machine, then a lot of times these you can pretty well ignore. Maybe even the lows and maybe even the mediums too. Usually isn't going to be a whole lot there for you. The highs and then especially the criticals are where you would want to really focus your attention, because that's liable to be something that has like RCE or something on that, something of that nature on it. So we're not going to get too far into this on this video here today, but just to show you, we'll go ahead and click over into the vulnerabilities, and then I'm not going to go too far into this either, but you can sort this and filter it by a number of different ways. I'll let you play around with that on your own. But it looks like by default it's got the criticals up at the top. So that's good, because that's usually what you want to look at first, like we were just saying. So and as you can see here, like I said, VNC server, the password is password. So it even says gain a shell remotely. Beautiful. There you go. So if you were wanting to take control of this machine as part of a CTF or something, there you go. It pretty much gave you an avenue right there to do it. So and obviously metasploitable 2 is designed to make that relatively straightforward to do. But anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. So we've, just to recap real quick, we've seen how to download Nessus, get the code for it, install it with the deb, start it, get into the web interface here, configure a scan, run it, and taking just a quick look here at some of the results. So like I say, definitely go ahead and play around with this on your own once the video is through here. If you're following along, just take off from here and start playing around with it, and if not, refer back to the video if you need, and go ahead and set it up on your own system so that you can keep playing around with it and learn more about its capabilities and what it can do for you and what kind of information it can provide. And all right, so until next time then, the last thing I will leave you with is go ahead and, if you haven't already, do yourself a favor and subscribe to the channel. Do me a favor too, because it does help the channel out to get a little bit more notoriety here, and turn on the notifications for yourself if you do subscribe, so that you'll see the next time we have a video coming out. And until next time, I will see you then. Until next time, just happy hacking.